Hey Kurt, this is my second submission, I guess, of um, the planning portion of the video project. I'm the social worker, Raymond's the client, and we're just going to dive right in. Hi Raymond, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you for asking. So we're meeting today so we can discuss, so last meeting, I guess I should start off with, we talked a little bit about your past history and we talked about what you'd like to accomplish through our meetings together. So today we're going to expand on that a little bit. We're going to actually put what you'd like to accomplish into like a plan. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we get started, can you catch me up on what happened since we've last met last week?
Not a whole lot. Just been going through the daily routine that they have us go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been in contact with your brother?
About once a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your mom and your sister?
No.
I haven't seen them yet. Okay. All right. So in the assessment part of our meetings, when I had you answer all those questions that I had for you, you basically disclosed that you had participated in the theft because you wanted to have money to support your family. And you talked to me a little bit about how maybe instead of resulting to that, next time you'd like to get a job set up for you and be able to provide for your mom and your siblings. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So based on what you have talked to me about, we're basically just going to take a look at options and figure out what you'd like to do moving forward. Okay?
Okay.
So you discussed with me the fact that you want to get out of here as soon as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
Well, I was hoping to get out soon, but at the court case, they said they gave me a sentence of like 6 months. So.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. So 6 months would put us roughly around like May. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in that time, you would like to basically get yourself ready to re-enter regular life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea on how you'd like to go about that?
I think I'd really like to. An important thing to me would be to get a job.
Okay.
Then I can help take care of the family.
Sure, getting a job. Okay. And you expressed to me some of your concerns about why you haven't had a job in the past. Can you just go over that with me again?
Yeah. I think interviewing is very uncomfortable. I find that very difficult. And then the whole resume thing, I'm not really sure what that's about. Or even what it is. I think it's important.
Okay.
Not really sure. Yeah.
Have you heard about resumes through like your friends or your mom or maybe like a business class in school?
Yeah, my mom has said like
Okay.
resume this, resume that.
Okay. I agree those things both would be very beneficial for you when applying for jobs. So what we can do is we can actually have someone work with you to build a resume. If you'd like, we can help. It's actually a pretty simple process, but once you have that document, then it's, every once in a while, maybe like every year or so, you go back and you just update it, make sure it's up to date, so that you always have something on file. If you have to apply for a job, you can just, clean it up a little bit and turn it in. So we can do a resume, the resume training for you. Do you have like a deadline or a set idea of when you'd like to complete that by?
By the time I get out.
Okay, sure. Time of release. And then the interview skills. We do have, I think classes that we can work on. So it'd be a bunch of youth like yourself who are here but also would like to learn interview skills, and you'd get together and it'd be kind of like a class where you can learn and then practice on each other. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned the job, and what else have you mentioned to me? Things that you'd like to work on.
I'm worried that being here will prevent me from finishing high school.
Okay.
So it's important to me that I continue with high school and I don't drop out.
Yes, that's a very good goal. And you're so close to graduating too. You only have a couple of months left before graduation. I think that's a very, very good idea of you to stick with it, especially since you're so close. The 6-month plan with you completing a 6-month here will put you roughly around the same time as like graduation. So you're planning it with the 6 months. You'd be released around May, and then your high school graduation is like early June. So I would like to stay on target with your classmates, but because you're here, it would probably have to be like a tutor or like online classes, or you mentioned Mr. Wiggins. Maybe Mr. Wiggins would be willing to come here and work one-on-one with you in certain subjects. And we can definitely reach out to him if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that I would like to do with that is ask for your education records, just your classes, your grades, just so I can get a good idea of where you were in school, so that if when we find you a tutor or a program, we can actually keep you current and not backtrack or go too far ahead of what you were learning when you left. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out this form. It just asks your school to release those documents to me, so I can get a better idea of where to start you off. Okay. Educational records. And this is only good for 90 days. So on February 2nd, this paper will no longer be valid. Just need your signature here. Thank you very much. All right. Do you have a preference on whether you work one-on-one with a tutor or you do online classes?
I think I'd prefer a tutor.
Tutor? Okay. So then my job with that will be to reach out to your high school and to work hand in hand with your teachers there and your guidance counselor, just to make sure that we're doing whatever we can to make sure you're on track of where you would be in Anaheim Township School District. Okay? All right. Any other things that you'd like to work on?
Yeah. I think I'd definitely like to prepare to quit using marijuana.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, just drop it completely.
Sure. I think that's a good goal, and especially since it's not legal, I think it should definitely occur while you're here. And And you expressed to me that you only use marijuana really when you're stressed or when you need a way to kind of mask your feelings, your emotions. So, how would you like to do that? How would you like to stop using marijuana?
I think I definitely need community of some sort, like a group or something. I'm not sure.
Like a support group?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. We do offer like drug support groups and other support groups through juvenile detention facilities. So we can get you connected, and it's confidential. You know, whatever is spoken in there stays within the group. Like, people are not going to be talking about things outside of that group and whatnot. So we will do the. And how often would you like to go to the support groups? They do weekly or monthly.
I think monthly.
Okay. Monthly drugs. Any other ways that you would like to work through the use of marijuana?
Not sure.
One thing I would suggest is, since you told me that you use it primarily when you're stressed, is maybe finding other ways to deal with your emotions. To, when you're feeling stressed, instead of turning to marijuana, maybe turning to I don't know, a sport that you may like, or drawing. And I know a lot of guys probably don't want to draw, but other people find different things that'll make them happy, calm them down a little bit, and then they can redirect their emotions into something more positive.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So find healthy ways to deal with the stress. Okay. And one way that I will suggest to do that is through Compass Mark. They have a program called Student Skills for Life, and they actually partner with youth who may be dealing with a lot of very complicated scenarios in their lives, whether it be maybe like a huge transition or an incarceration, or they actually work through those difficult scenarios, and they find ways or they help to bring forth other options for the youth to redirect their feelings. And it's a 12-hour program, so we can break that up into 12 hours at one shot or over a few weeks, however you'd like, but it's 12 hours. Okay, so student skills, better life, through the Compass Mark. And I do have to fill out a form for that also, just so I can get the records, and then you can see your progress through that. So I'm going to put social skills and coping skills. And need your signature. Now, one thing that you mentioned before, I don't know if we've touched on it yet today, but one thing I think is important is towards the end of the 6 months, when we are getting to transition you out of the juvenile detention center and into your regular daily life, it may come as a little bit of a shock, because you're doing a lot to work on, the use of the marijuana. So you're already starting to change a lot of things in your life, and to change setting may also cause a lot of strain. So I think to prepare for your release may be beneficial for your mental and emotional support. Does that sound like something you'd be in favor of?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, the Student Skills for Life program for the Compass Mark, they offer like a transitional support. So they'll help you through that transition. And then there's another group called the Community Services Group, but they offer a specialized transitional support. And what they do is they'll also help with that transition back into your regular life. Because we want to set you up for success.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound all right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Are there any other ways that you would like to be prepared for your release? Anything that you'd like to work on?
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I don't think so. No.
Okay. Is there anything that we haven't mentioned that you would like to mention?
No.
Okay. So we will schedule to meet in 6 months. And we'll, actually that's not right. Pause. Sorry about that, Kurt, we were interrupted. So we're going to put this into practice. We have the plan ready to go, and then we'll meet again in probably about 2 to 3 months. We'll set up an appointment just to go over your progress. You can catch me up on what's going on. If we need to make any changes to the plan, that's when we can do that. Or if it's like, we can even do it sooner if you need to meet with me. We can just set something up. But that's all we have for today. Do you have anything else that you'd like to mention with me or go over any questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. It was a pleasure to see you again today, Raymond.